D-BT06 here, and welcome back to another deck profile video for Cardfight Vanguard Deer Days. Alrighty then, let's begin. Pressing the A button now.
Cardfight Vanguard Deer Days.
Loading game and proceeding. Here we are in the main menu, after the edit deck menu, and now in today's video, the deck profile I'm going to be making one for is a Keter Sanctuaries, Hexaorb Sorceress, D-BT06, and I'm going to be using this Keter Sanctuaries, Hexaorb Sorceress, D-BT04 deck as the base of the deck I'm going to build. Okie dokie, let's begin. So selecting the deck, entering edit deck, and off we go. And here we are in the edit deck menu. And like I just mentioned before, the deck I'm building today's deck profile video is a Keter Sanctuaries, Hexaorb Sorceress deck made up of cards only available up until D-BT06. So first, let's go to the filter settings and to pack, show only cards from D-BT1, Genesis of the 5 Greats, D-BT2, A Brush of the Legends, D-BT3, Advance of Intertwined Stars, D-BT4, Awakening of Chakrabarti, D-BT5, Triumphant Return of Brave Heroes, Festival Collection 2021, Festival Collection 2022, Pro Pack number 1, and last but not least, D-BT6, Blazing Dragon Reborn. Apply filter, and now let's begin with the deck's Grade 3 lineup. For the Grade 3s of this deck, we are playing Ride Deck, Grade 3, Hexaorb Sorceress. Skills, first skill, Auto as a Vanguard. When your drive check reveals a trigger unit, choose one of your rear guards and it gets plus 10,000 power until end of turn. Second skill, Action as a Vanguard once per turn. If you Persona roll this turn, cost Counterblast 1 and Soul Blast 1. If the cost and paid, reveal up to 1 critical trigger or 1 front trigger from your hand, put it on the top of your deck, and this unit gets drive plus 1 until end of turn. So for Hexaorb Sorceress, she's the main Grade 3 to ride this deck. Her skills, the first skill, whenever your drive check reveals a trigger unit, you get to give a rear guard on your field more power to help you in your upcoming offense. And the second skill, as long as the second skill's conditions are met and you pay the cost, you have the chance to stack either a critical or front trigger to the top of your deck, and also get drive plus 1, thus giving you a guaranteed trigger, which will allow you to also combo with the first skill of Hexaorb Sorceress, and also to increase your drive check, giving you more chances to get more triggers, or to at least restock your hand with more cards. And alright, the Grade 3, Hexaorb Sorceress. We have 4 in the deck, 1 in the ride deck, 3 in the main deck, leaving it that way. Next up, the Grade 3, Twin Great Magic, Tatan. Not playing her anymore, taking her out, thank you for everything. And with that, we just about covered the deck's Grade 3 lineup. Now it's time to start with the deck's Grade 2 lineup. For the Grade 2s of this deck, we are playing Ride Deck, Grade 2, Pentagleam Sorceress. Skills, for skill, Auto. When this unit is rolled upon by Hexaorb Sorceress, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, put them on top of your deck in any order. And the second skill, when this unit is placed in the rear guard, look at the top card of your deck and put it on the top or bottom of your deck. If you put it on the bottom of your deck, this unit gets plus 2,000 power until end of turn. So for Pentagleam Sorceress, she's the main Grade 2 to ride this deck. With her skills, the first skill, just by riding Hexaorb Sorceress on top of her, you have the chance to rearrange the top 3 cards of your deck, giving you an easier chance to plan your upcoming attacks or draws with the preset cards on the top of your deck with this first skill. And the second skill, just by calling Pentagleam to the rear guard, not only do you get the chance to preview the top card of your deck, but if you choose to also put the revealed card in the bottom of your deck, you can also turn your Pentagleam Sorceress into a potential 12,000 point attacker all on her own. And okie dokie, the Grade 2, Pentagleam Sorceress. We have 4 in the deck, 1 in the ride deck, 3 in the main deck, taking 3 out, and just leaving 1 in the ride deck. That should do it. Next up, the Grade 2, Exquisite Knight, Olween. Skills, first skill, Auto. When this unit is placed on the rearguard circle, if your Vanguard is Hexaorb Sorceress, Cost, Soul Blast 1. If the cost and paid, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, choose up to 2 cards from among them, put them on top of your deck in any order, and put the rest in the bottom of your deck in any order. And the second skill, Auto, as a rear guard. When your drive check reveals a trigger unit, cost, Counter Blast 1. If the cost and paid, this unit gets plus 10,000 power until end of turn. So for Oween, a support card for the Hexaorb Sorceress deck, if his skill is the first skill, just by calling the rear guard while the conditions of the skill are met and you pay the cost, you have the chance to preview the top cards of your deck, thus giving you a easier chance to plan your upcoming attacks with the possibility of getting a trigger, or at least just knowing what cards you're going to get in your drive check. Any second skill, when the conditions of the second skill are met and you pay the cost, you can then add 10,000 power to your Oween, making him a very powerful front row attacker. And the best part is, this second skill is stackable as long as you manage to drive check a trigger unit multiple times in a row. Also, if you win to pay the counter blast 1 for each trigger check, you'll be able to continue stacking 10,000 power to Oween, making him a very powerful front row attacker to help you either pressure or finish off your opponent. And confirm the Grade 2 Exquisite Knight, Oween. We have 4 in the deck, taking 1 out, only playing 3. 3 is enough. Next up, for the deck's Grade 2 lineup, we are playing the Grade 2 Magic of Objective Kakarone. Skills, first skill, Auto. When this unit is placed on the rearguard circle, if your Vanguard is Hexaorb Sorceress or Pentagleam Sorceress. Cost, Soul Blast 1. If the cost and paid, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put them on top of your deck in any order. Second skill, Continuous, as a rearguard or guardian. If your Vanguard is Hexaorb Sorceress, this unit gets plus 2,000 power and plus 5,000 shield, active on your opponent's turn 2. So for Kakarone, another support card for the Hexaorb Sorceress deck. If your skill is the first skill, when called to the rearguard while the conditions of the first skill are met and you pay the cost, you have the chance to preview the top cards of your deck to give you an easier time to plan your upcoming attacks or draws depending on what cards you manage to reveal this first skill. Any second skill, as long as the conditions of the second skill are met, your rearguard or guardian Kakarone can then serve as a potential 12,000 point attacker or 10,000 point shield. And affirmative, the Grade 2 Magic of Objective Kakarone. We are putting 3 into the deck. 3 should do it. And next up, the Grade 2s we are playing in this deck are... Let's see. Here we go. The Grade 2 Overdress Sorceress. Skills, first skill, Auto. When this unit is placed on the rear guard, if you have a Grade 3 or greater Vanguard of Sorceress in its card name, cost, Counter Blast 1. If the cost and pay, look at the top 2 cards from your deck, choose up to 2 cards from among them, put them into your hand, put the rest on the top of your deck in any order. If you put 2 cards into your hand, choose a card from hand and put it in the bottom of your deck. And the second skill, Auto, as a rear guard. When this unit attacks, if your Persona rolled this turn, this unit gets plus 5,000 power until end of turn. So for Overdress Sorceress, another support card for the Hexaorb Sorceress deck. If her skill is the first skill, when called onto the rear guard while the conditions of the skill are met and you pay the cost, you have the chance to preview the top 2 cards in your deck. And if those 2 cards, you have the option of either stacking them to the top of your deck or putting them into your hand. And if you had put a card into your hand, 2 cards in your hand by the skill, you have to discard one, put 1 card in the bottom of your deck. So for the first skill of Overdress, it's going to not only preview the top cards of your deck, but to also restock your hand of more cards. Any second skill, as long as the conditions of the second skill are met, your Overdress Sorceress can then serve as a potential 15,000 point attacker all on her own. And okay, the Grade 2 Overdress Sorceress. We are putting 4 into the deck. 4 is enough. And next up, the Grade 2 Yearnful Magic Esunono. We are not playing her anymore, taking her out, thank you for everything. And in her place, we are putting in the Grade 2. The Grade 2... Let's see, what would be a good choice for Grade 2s? How about this one, the Grade 2 Quadra Sorceress. Skill, Auto. When this unit is placed on the rearguard circle, if you have a Vanguard of Sorceress in its card name, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put them to the top of your deck in any order, and Soul Charge 1. So for Quadra Cat Sorceress, another support card for the Hexaorb Sorceress deck. With her skill, when called onto the rear guard while the conditions of her skill are met, you have the chance to more or less rearrange the top cards of your deck and build up your soul for later Soul Blasts. And alrighty, the Grade 2 Quadra Cat Sorceress. We are putting 2 into the deck. 2 is enough. And next up for the Grade 2 lineup, we are putting in this one, the Grade 2 4-Side Glow Sorceress. Skill Auto from the front row rear guard. Once per turn, when this unit is chosen by the ability of your Grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Sorceress in its card name, cost Soul Blast 2. If the cost is paid, you can countercharge 1. If this unit's power was increased or decreased by a trigger effect this turn, draw a card. So for 4-Side Glow Sorceress, another support card for the Hexaorb Sorceress deck. With her skill, while she is on the front row rear guard while the conditions of the skill are met, and you pay the cost, not only do you get to refund your counter blast, but to also draw more cards for every time you increase or decrease your 4-Side Glow Sorceress's power by trigger effect. And okie dokie, the Grade 2 4-Side Glow Sorceress. We are putting 2 into the deck. 2 is more than enough. And with that, we just about covered the deck's Grade 2 lineup. Now it's time to get on with the deck's Grade 1 lineup. For the Grade 1s of this deck, we are playing the Ride deck, Grade 1, Tier Square Sorceress. Skills, first skill, Auto. When this unit is rolled upon by Pentagleam Sorceress, cost Counter Blast 1. If the cost is paid, draw a card. Second skill, Auto, is a rear guard. Once per turn, when your drive check reveals a trigger unit, cost Counter Blast 1. If the cost is paid, choose one of your opponent's front row rear guards and put it in the bottom of their deck. So for Tier Square Sorceress, she's the main Grade 1 to ride this deck. With her skills, the first skill, just by riding Pentagleam Sorceress on top of her and you pay the cost, you can then draw a card to stock up your hand with more options with new cards. And the second skill, as long as the conditions of the second skill are met and you pay the cost, you get to wipe out your opponent's field of rear guards by sending them back to the bottom of the deck. And affirmative, the Grade 1 Tier Square Sorceress. We have 1 in the deck in the Ride deck, leaving it that way. Next up, the Grade 1 Aegis Mirror Dragon Sentinel Perfect Guard. Skills, first skill, Continuous Sentinel. Second skill, Auto. When this unit is put on the Guardian Circle, choose one of your units, and it cannot be hit until end of battle. If your hand has 2 more cards, choose a card from your hand and discard it. So for Aegis Mirror Dragon, a perfect guard for the Keter Sanctuary Nation. Like any other perfect guard in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, he features the same skill and activation. When used to guard with and discarding 1 card from your hand, you can block 1 enemy attack. But he also features an ability unique to all these standard format perfect guards. When used to guard with while you have less than 2 cards in hand, you will not have to pay the usual discard 1 cost, making Aegis Mirror Dragon a potential no-cost perfect guard in desperate, last resort situations. And confirm, the Grade 1 Aegis Mirror Dragon, we have 4 in the deck, taking 1 out, only playing 3. And next in the deck's Grade 1 lineup, we are putting the Grade 1 Blitz Order Elementaria Sanctitude. Skills, first skill, Continuous Sentinel. You may only have up to 4 cards of Continuous Sentinel in deck. Second skill, Continuous. You may only have 1 Elementarian Sanctitude in the deck. Third skill, Order. If your opponent's Vanguard has triple drive, this ability can be played without paying the cost. Play as if it costs of, discard a card from your hand if your Vanguard is Grade 3 or less. If the cost is paid, choose one of your units, and it cannot be hit until end of battle. Remove this card. So for Elementarian Sanctitude, it's the Blitz Order version of the Perfect Guard. Like any other Perfect Guard in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, it features the same skill and activation. When played and discarding 1 card from your hand, you can block 1 enemy attack. But ideally, Elementarian Sanctitude is best played against opponents who play decks that specialize in having Vanguards with triple drive. For example, Grade 4s or Vanguards who increase their drive check by skill or card effect. Against such opponents, your Elementarian Sanctitude can serve as a potential no-cost perfect guard. And alright, the Great One, Blitz Order, Elementaria Sanctitude. We are putting 1 into the deck. And next up, in the deck's Great One lineup, we are playing the Great One, Hexaorb Sorceress. We're not playing her anymore, taking her out, but thank you for everything. And then the Great One, Magic of Revelation, Tatris. Skill Auto. When this unit is placed on the rear guard, if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, cost Counter Blast 1. If the cost is paid, search your deck for up to 1 Hexaorb Sorceress, reveal it, and put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. So for Tatris, she's a support card for the Hexaorb Sorceress deck. With her skill, when called onto the rear guard while the conditions of her skill are met and paying the cost, you can then secure yourself a Hexaorb Sorceress to pursue on right next turn to give you a better advantage in the game. And okay, the Great One, Magic of Revelation, Tatris. We have 3 in the deck. Leaving it that way, next up, the Great One, Recurring Magic, Lotterita. Skill Auto as a rear guard. At the end of the battle, your drive check revealed a trigger unit. If your Vanguard is Hexaorb Sorceress, cost Counter Blast 1 and Soul Blast 1. If the cost is paid, choose one of your other rear guards, stand it, and retire this unit. So for Lotterita, she's another support card for the Hexaorb Sorceress deck. With her skill, as long as the conditions of the skill are met and you pay the cost, you can stand another rear guard to give you another attack to help you either pressure or even finish off your opponent with. And affirmative, the Great One, Recurring Magic, Lotterita. We have 2 in the deck. Adding 2 more, playing 4 in the deck. And next up in the Great One lineup, we are putting in, let's see, for the remaining Great One slot in this deck, we are putting in, how about this one, the Great One, Changing Magic, Mimi-Ruru. Skill action as a rear guard. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard Sorceress in its card name, cost, retire this unit. If the cost is paid, choose a critical trigger or a front trigger from your drop zone and put it into your hand. So for Mimi-Ruru, another support card for the Hexaorb Sorceress deck. With her skill, as long as the conditions of the skill are met and you pay the cost, you have the chance to return a critical or front from your drop zone back to your hand, securing yourself either a defensive card or a card to help you activate Hexaorb Sorceress' second skill. And confirm, the Great One, Changing Magic, Mimi-Ruru. We are putting in 2 into the deck. 2 is fine, and with that, we just about covered the deck's Great One lineup. Now let's get on with the deck's Grade 0 lineup. For the Grade 0s of this deck, we are playing the right deck, Grade 0, Tri-Connect Sorceress. Skill Auto. When this unit is rolled upon, if you went second, you can draw a card. So for Tri-Connect Sorceress, she's the starting unit of this deck, and like any other starting unit in the D standard format, she features the same skill and activation. When reading the top of, while you're the second to go in the game, you get to draw a card. And okay, the Grade 0 Tri-Connect Sorceress starting unit, we have 1 in the right deck, and leaving it that way. And now we're done with the Grade 0 lineup. Next, let's get on the deck's trigger lineup. For the triggers of this deck, we are playing the Grade 0 Light Dragon DD Honors Amatonia Overtrigger. Skill, trigger, additional effect. Until end of turn, you also perform drive checks for the battles your rear guards attack. So for Amatonia, he's the overtrigger for the Keter Sanctuary Nation. Like any other overtrigger in the Cardfight Vanguard trading card game, he features the same skill and activation. When revealed during a drive check or damage check, you get 100 million power and draw a card. But he also features an ability unique to him alone. When revealed during a drive check on your turn, all of your rear guards during that turn can also do drive checks, thus giving you the increased chances of getting more triggers or to at least restock your hand with more cards, giving you better offense or defense depending on what cards you drive check. And alrighty, the Grade 0 Light Dragon DD Honors Amatonia Overtrigger, we have 1 in the deck. Leaving it that way, next up, the Grade 0 White Fang Witch Disma Critical Trigger. We have 3 in the deck. Leaving it that way. Next up, the Grade 0 Blade Better Dragon Critical Trigger. Skill Auto as a rear guard. At the end of the battle, this unit boosted. Cost, put this unit into your soul. If the cost and paid, choose one of your units, and it gets plus 2,000 power until end of turn. So for Blade Better Dragon, a powerful critical trigger to play in your Keter Sanctuary Nation decks. With a skill after boosting attack, regardless if the attack hits or not, as long as you don't mind moving Blade Better from your rear guard to your soul, not only do you get to build up your soul for later soul blast, but to also give the remaining attackers in the field, Vanguard or rear guard, a little extra power to work with. And alright, the Grade 0 Blade Better Dragon Critical Trigger, we have 4 in the deck. Leaving it that way, next up, the Grade 0 Bard of Heavenly Song Alpac Front Trigger. Skill continuous as a guardian. If your opponent's Vanguard is Grade 3 or greater, this unit gets plus 5,000 shield. So for Alpac, a powerful front trigger to play in your Keter Sanctuary Nation decks. With her skill, when used to guard with while the conditions of her skill are met, you can then turn your Alpac into a potential 20,000 point shield on her own. And okie dokie, the Grade 0 Bard of Heavenly Song Alpac Front Trigger. We have 4 in the deck. Leaving it that way, next up, the Grade 0 Circulating Sorceress Heal Trigger. We have 4 in the deck, taking her out, not gonna use her anymore, but thank you for everything. In her place, we are putting in the Grade 0 Invigorate Sage Heal Trigger. Skill Auto. When this unit is placed on the Guardian Circle, if your opponent's attacking unit has attacked 2 or more times this turn, this unit gets plus 15,000 shield until end of battle. Active if this battle is its second attack this turn or more. So for Invigorate Sage, a powerful heal trigger to play in your Keter Sanctuary Nation decks. With a skill, when used to guard with while the conditions of its skill are met, your Invigorate Sage then can serve as a potential 25,000 point shield on its own. Ideally, Invigorate Sage is a counter heal best played against opponents who play decks that specialize in restanding, attacking multiple times with their units, either their Vanguard or rear guard. And affirmative, the Grade 0 Invigorate Sage Heal Trigger. We are putting 2 into the deck. 2 is enough. And next up, the Grade 0 Hardiness Tier Sorceress Heal Trigger. Skill Auto. When this unit is put in the Guardian Circle, if the attacking unit's critical is 2 or greater, and its critical is increased by a non-trigger effect ability, or its original critical is 2 or greater, this unit gets plus 15,000 shield until end of battle. So for Hardiness Tier Sorceress, another powerful heal trigger to play in your Keter Sanctuary Nation decks. With her skill, when used to guard with while the conditions of her skill are met, you can then turn your Hardiness Tier Sorceress into a potential 25,000 point shield on her own. Ideally, Hardiness Tier Sorceress is a counter heal, best played against opponents who play decks that specialize in increasing their attacking unit's critical, Vanguard or rear guard by skill or card effect. And confirm the Grade 0 Hardiness Tier Sorceress Heal Trigger. We are putting 2 in the deck. 2 is more than enough, and if that, the deck has been built, card effects explained, let's just save the deck. Overwrite deck being built, clicking yes. And for the cards in this deck, we are playing 4 Grade 3 Hexaorb Sorceress, 1 Grade 2 Pentagleam Sorceress, 3 Grade 2 Exquisite Knight Olween, 3 Grade 2 Magic of Objective Kakarone, 4 Grade 2 Octaray Sorceress, 2 Grade 2 Quadra Cast Sorceress, 2 Grade 2 Foresight Glow Sorceress, 3 Grade 1 Aegismere Dragon, 1 Grade 1 Elementaria Sanctitude, 1 Grade 1 Tier Square Sorceress, 3 Grade 1 Magic of Revelation Tatris, 4 Grade 1 Recurring Magic Lalarita, 2 Grade 1 Changing Magic Mimiururu, and 1 Grade 0 Tri-Connect Sorceress starting unit. And for the triggers in this deck, we are playing 1 Overtrigger, 7 Critical triggers. 4 front triggers. And 4 heel triggers. Okie dokie, the deck has been built, Cardfight explained. Now it's time to test out the deck, so let's leave the edit deck menu, return to main menu, off to fight menu, and on to CPU fight. Selecting the deck I just built, the Keter Sanctuaries, Hexaorb Sorceress, D-BT06 deck. Selecting deck, and selecting the opponent. I'm gonna test it out. I'm gonna test it out on Masaru Keter, normal difficulty, and the battle begins. Let's get started. Here we are in the fight. We're gonna decide who goes first. So a rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock to rock, one more time. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Again, one more time. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Scissors to paper, I win going first. Drawing our starting hands, I got 2 Tatris, a Sorceress, a Mimiru, and a Heal Trigger. Gonna redraw 1 extra copy of Tatris and a Heal Trigger, holding on to everything else. Redraw. 2 front triggers, come on. Fine, I'm going first. Draw. I ride from the right deck. Tier Square Sorceress. For the right deck cost, I'm discarding. I'm gonna discard. I'm gonna discard 1 front trigger, discard Alpac, and ride Tier Square Sorceress. That's all for me, end of turn. Now it's my opponent's turn. My opponent rides the Great One, Deep Sonicer. Skill Sonicer, he soul charges, and starter skill, he draws. He's going straight to battle phase, Vanguard to Vanguard, 8k to 8k, no guard, gonna take it. He drive checks. Critical trigger, come on, the first trigger of the turn. So it's gonna be 2 damage to me, here it comes. Ow! Damage check. Critical trigger, come on, it wasted a trigger. All trigger effects wasted. And the second damage, come on, give me something good. Nothing. So that's it for my opponent's turn. Now it's my turn, stand and draw. I ride from the right deck, Pentagleam Sorceress. For the right deck cost, I'm discarding 1. I'm gonna discard. I'm discarding the Grade 2 Quadrocret Sorceress, discard, and ride. Pentagleam Sorceress, Tier Square skill, I counter blast 1, counter blast, and draw. Draw. I drew, yes, a Hexaorb, I can Persona Ride. Then in my rear guards, I'm calling Magic of Objective Kakarot to the rear guard. Call Kakarot skill, Soul Blast 1, Soul Blast, and look at the top 2 cards of my deck. A heal and a perfect guard. Not too bad, leaving the heal on top and Aegis Mare on the bottom. Then I'm gonna call to the rear guard 1 recurring magic Lalarita. Calling over here, that should do it, and on to the battle phase. My Vanguard attacks the Vanguard, 10,000. The attack goes through, drive check. Heal trigger, get. I heal 1 damage, healing, and power to the rear guard, Kakarot. Power added, and 1 damage to the opponent. Boom! Damage check. No triggers, safe. Now boosted by Lalarita, Kakarot attacks the Vanguard, 28,000 power. The attack goes through, and boom! 1 more damage, damage check. Yes, critical trigger, he wasted a trigger. Trigger effect wasted, and that's it for my turn. Now it's my opponent's turn. My opponent rides the Grade 2 Electro Spartan. He calls the rear guard Keygraph, Vanguard to Vanguard, 10,000. No guard, gonna take it. Twin drive check. No trigger, perfect guard, safe, so 1 damage. Ow! Damage check. No trigger, perfect guard. And here comes a rear guard attack from Keter. I'm gonna block the attack, or this is a tough choice. I think I'm going to let the attack go through. No guard. Ow! Damage check. Critical trigger. Wasted a trigger. Come on. Trigger effect wasted. Another critical wasted. This is not good for me. End of my opponent's turn. It's my turn. Stand and draw. I ride from the right deck. Hexaorb Sorceress. For the right deck cost, I'm discarding. I'm gonna discard. I already got a Hexaorb, so I can discard Tatris. Discarding Tatris and ride Hexaorb Sorceress. Pentagleam skill. Looking at the top 3 cards on my deck and rearrange them. I'm putting. Okie dokie. I'm gonna put the critical trigger and Octary on top. And 4 glow on the bottom. And next, I'm calling to the rear guard. 1 recurring magic, Lalarita. Calling to the rear guard over here, and I'm gonna call changing magic Mimiru to the rear guard, calling Mimiru's skill. I retire her and search my drop zone for a trigger. I'm re-adding the front trigger, Bard of Heavenly Song, Alpaca back to my hand, securing my defense for next turn, and that should do it. On to battle phase. First up, my rear guard Kakarot attacks the unboosted, attacks the Vanguard. 12,000 power. The attack goes through, and boom! 1 damage to my opponent. Damage check. Draw trigger, come on! Power at the Vanguard, not good for me. Fine, boosted by Lalarita. My Hexaorb Sorceress attacks the Vanguard, 21,000 power. The attack goes through, Twin Drive, first check. Get critical trigger. I give, let's see, power, and I give the critical to my Vanguard and power to Kakarot. Critical added, and power added. Then my Hexaorb skill, 10,000 power to a rear guard. I'm giving it to Kakarot. Second check. No trigger. And zap! 2 damage to my opponent. First check. Over trigger, come on! And second check. Heal trigger, come on! 2 good triggers, so lucky! Fine, then I'm gonna use the middle columns. Hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna use the middle columns. Recurring Magic Lalarita, Counterblast 1, and Soul Blast 1. Restand Kakarot, and retiring the middle one. Not gonna activate the remaining skill. Boosted by Lalarita, Kakarot attacks the rear guard Keter. 40 10k. The attack goes through, and boom! 1 less rear guard to worry about. End of my turn, my opponent's turn. My opponent's riding the Grade 3 Master of Gravity, Baron Magnus. Skill of Spartan, he's going to put a card into the soul and soul charge. He soul charged, and he's activating the order card, Supernatural Extraction. He's soul charging 3 more cards. 1, 2, and 3, perfect guard, and 2 normal units. Vanguard to Vanguard. That's 21,000 power. 31,000, but he only has 9 cards in the soul, so he cannot activate the plus critical. I'm just gonna let it go through, no guard. Drive check first. Critical trigger, come on, so lucky. First 2 lucky triggers, now another lucky trigger. Second check. No trigger, but Persona Ride, how is he so lucky? Here comes 2 damage to me. Here it comes. Ow. Damage check first. No trigger, and second, come on. Over trigger. Better than nothing. Damage nullified and draw card. I drew a critical. Huh. And with my opponent's turn, my turn. Stand and draw. It's time to Persona Ride Hexaorb Sorceress. Let's go! Persona Ride! Draw a card and power added. Then I'm gonna activate Hexaorb Sorceress skill, Counter Blast 1, and Soul Blast 1. I stack one trigger on top. I'm stacking... a critical trigger on top. And my Vanguard gets Drive +1. Next on my rear guard, I'm calling... Octaray Sorceress to the rear guard. Call! Not gonna activate Octaray's skill, and I'm gonna call to the rear guard. Recurring Magic Lalarita. Call! That should be enough. On to battle phase. First up, boosted by Lalarita. My Octaray Sorceress attacks the Vanguard, 28,000 power. And Octaray skill plus another 5,000 power. That's total 33,000 power to the Vanguard. The attack goes through and boom! 1 damage, damage check. No trigger, safe. Now here comes an attack from Hexaorb Sorceress. 23,000 power, perfect guard, and discards for the perfect guard cost a Persona Ride. Alrighty, triple drive, first check. Critical trigger. I give, let's see, all effects to Kakarot. There we go. And Hexaorb skill. More power to Kakarot. And second check. No trigger. And the third check. Come on, deck, give me something good. Alrighty, front trigger. Power to the front row, and Hexaorb skill activates. I give more power to Kakarot. The attack fails, but now, here comes a skill. I'm activating the right side's Lalarita. I'm going to Counter Blast 1 and Soul Blast 1. Retiring Lalarita and restanding one rear guard. I'm restanding Octaray Sorceress. That should do it. Now, boosted by Lalarita on the left, Kakarot attacks the Vanguard for a total of 70,000 power, 2 criticals. He quadruple guards 73k. He just barely guarded it, but at least I managed to make him empty out most of his hands. So, one more attack from Octaray, 35,000 power to the Vanguard. Skill plus another 5,000. Total of 40,000 power. The attack goes through, and boom! One more damage. Damage check. No trigger, safe. So that's the end of my turn. Now it's my opponent's turn. He held on to a Persona Ride, not good for me. Now he has 10 cards in Soul. Call into the rear guard. Clumsy Assistant. Vanguard to Vanguard. Skill of his Vanguard. Counter Blast 1 and draw and add power to his Vanguard. And plus critical. Total 41,000 power. Skill from the back row, Clumsy Assistant. Another 10,000. Total 51,000. I gotta block it at all costs, so double guard with fronts. Guard. Plus 5,000 shield. Better not risk it. Guarding another critical. And 68,000 and a heal trigger. No, wait. Not guarding the key critical, just guarding the Hardiness Tier Sorceress. Guard! Hardiness Tier skill. Plus another 15,000 shield. Total 78,000 power to the Vanguard. The attack does not go through since its over trigger is out of the deck. So first check, no trigger, order card, safe. And second check, draw trigger, Power wasted, but he gets to stock up his hand, no good for me. Ka-chink, safe. End of my opponent's turn, my turn, stand and draw. I'm going to Persona Ride Hexaorb Sorceress one more time. Here we go!
今こそ真の力を表せ。ペルソナライド。
Persona Ride! Power added and draw. Another trigger out the deck. Come on. Alright, then I'm going to activate Hexaorb Sorceress' skill. Counter Blast 1 and Soul Blast 1.
スキル発動だ。
I stack one trigger on top. I'm stacking a front trigger, Bard of Heavenly Song Alpac. Place it on top of the deck and plus 1 drive. Then I call to the rear guards. This is a tough choice. I'm going to call Quadra Cast Sorceress to the rear guard. Calling over here. Call. Skill activated. Look at the top 2 cards on my deck. Rearrange, I'm putting Octaray on top and Alpac on the bottom. Rearrange and Soul Charge. Then I'm calling... 2 Blade Feathers on the rear guard. 1 and 2. That should do it. Now, let's get on to the battle phase. First up, boosted by Blade Feather, Hexaorb Sorceress attacks the Vanguard. Vanguard the Vanguard, 27,000 power, triple drive. Key triple guards, 38k, 48k, no pass. First check. Alrighty, front trigger. Power to the front row. And Hexaorb skill plus another 10,000 power to 1 rear guard. I'm giving it to my Octaray Sorceress plus 10,000 power. Second check. Alright, another front trigger. More power to the front row. And here comes Hexorb skill. Plus another 10,000 to Kakarot. The third check. Heal trigger, triple trigger, alright. Then I give all effects to my Vanguard. Power 57k, breaks through my opponent's shield. Hexorb skill, another 10,000 power to the rear guard. I'm giving it to my Octaray Sorceress, 10,000. And shattering through my opponent's defense. Crash, 1 damage. Damage check. No trigger. 6 damage, I win. That wasn't too bad. I got to try some of the new cards and make them work pretty well. I still got to make the main cards of the deck work well as well. So, I got win, triple trigger, attack of 60,000 more power, guard of 60,000 more shield, drew an over trigger, opponent drew an over trigger, did a persona ride, 8 turns pass, and retired 5 opposing units. Got 3450 VP, total 30,875 VP. Pressing A to go next, leaving the fight, returning to fight menu. And leaving fight menu, return to main menu, and on to the edit deck menu. And with that, we just about finished building the deck, explained the card effects, and I just tested up the deck out in front of you. So first I want to say is, thank you to the viewers for watching today's video, and to please stay tuned for more videos I plan to upload again in the near future. I also hope you all show support by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to my videos and channel. And with that I say, goodbye and